Are you looking for the top 5 best budget gaming routers? In this video we will look at some of the best budget gaming routers on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. TPLink Archer X3000, X55. First, in terms of real-world speed, 5 GHz can hit 500 megabits per second at around 40 feet, whereas 2.4 GHz is likely to only get you around 100 megabits per second at the same distance. Interestingly, though, the X55 swaps out the internal Intel chip for a Qualcomm one, which, while operating within a smaller frequency, manages to be much more stable as a result. As for features, you'll find everything in the previous iteration and then some. The most important new addition is the support for WPA3, which is excellent for security. You also get One Mesh support, which means that you can pair it with routers and Wi-Fi extenders that support TP-Link standard. As for general connectivity, you have the same 4 gigabit Ethernet ports in the back, 4 nice big antennas with beamforming, and a USB 3.0 port. The X55 also has support for Wi-Fi 6, which lets it reach such high speeds, even at a range of 40 feet. Finally, it also has support for MU-MIMO, which means you can connect to several devices simultaneously without experiencing weird latency or lag. At number 2. Asus RT AC66UB1. When looking at budget options, we have to make choices as to what features we want to give up in exchange for getting a lower price. Well, the good thing is that the Asus RT AC66UB1 has a ton of great features packed in while still coming in at under $100. Starting with the most important, performance is pretty good for such a budget router. While 2.4 GHz isn't great, coming in at around 100 megabits per second at roughly 30 feet, 5 GHz does a much better job, being able to reach a whopping 500 megabits per second at about 30 feet. What's interesting is that the RT AC66UB1 doesn't support Wi-Fi 6, so it's all running on Wi-Fi 5 with great performance, although you likely have to stick to the 5 GHz band to see it. What's probably helping with this speed is the supported beamforming, which boosts performance. Sadly, it is missing out on MI-MIMO technology, so you might get some performance and latency hits if you're planning to connect several devices. At number 3. DLink Deer 882. Whenever the word gaming is thrown into the mix, the cost of items tends to skyrocket. Thankfully though, the DLink Deer 882 is not only affordable, but it does its best to find innovation without using Wi-Fi 6, which would have further ballooned the price. Probably the most striking thing about the Deer 882 is how massive its antennas are, and that's mostly to push a ton of performance to your device. While 2.4 GHz performance isn't that exciting at around 150 megabits per second at 50 feet, the 5 GHz speeds at the same range can easily hit 250 megabits per second, meaning that you should be able to game anywhere in your house without any issues. This naturally carries over to other activities, such as 4K streaming, without dealing with annoying choppiness. Of course, given that this router works well for gaming, there's a bunch of associated technology stuffed in, the main ones being MI-MIMO and COS, which work together to balance out performance. You also get good connectivity, with 4 gigabit Ethernet ports and USB 2.0 and USB 3.0 ports. At number 4. TPLink Archer X1500, X10. While it's true that Wi-Fi 6 tends to come with a hefty price tag, it's still possible to get a router that supports it for less than $100, which is where the TPLink Archer X1500, X10, comes in to save the day. Of course, you probably won't be surprised to hear that 2.4 GHz band performance isn't great, likely netting you around 80 megabits per second at 30 feet. Where it shines the most is in the 5 GHz department, where it can easily hide around 750 megabits per second at 30 feet, most likely due to the use of Wi-Fi 6. Stability is also pretty good for an $80 router, so there are no complaints there. It even has WPA3 support, a feature it received in a firmware update. As for setup, it's relatively simple and follows the same system that all TP-Link Archer routers do, so if you've used one of those before, you'll be right at home here. There's a lot of advanced controls, too, such as port forwarding, VPN support, and dynamic DNS. That being said, you can easily plug the router in and let it do its own thing if you don't have the tech skills. At number 5. TPLink Deco X20. Wi-Fi dead zones in the house can be incredibly frustrating, especially if you only need a few extra inches to connect in your bed or a specific sofa in the living room. While Wi-Fi range extenders are great, mesh systems like the TPLink Deco X20 provide a seamless Wi-Fi experience in their own right. Coming in at $177 for a set of two, the Deco X20 can cover 4,000 square feet of your home pretty handily. The 5 GHz speeds of the base router unit will see you get up to 650 megabits per second, while the satellite throughput will give you up to 450 megabits per second at close range. These speeds could have been higher, but TP-Link sadly didn't include a dedicated back channel, and while it is a missed opportunity, speeds should be more than enough for the majority of users. If the coverage of the 2-pack doesn't cover it, there is a 3-pack on offer for $230, which should bump that up to 5,800 SQFT, an area that most homes will likely not have to worry about. Thanks for watching, and that's all for this video. If you liked this video and it helped you out in any way, please give the video a like and hit that subscribe button. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Till next time, I'll see you later.